At the core of quantum physics, there is something you really have to understand. Without it, you will have a very hard time getting what's going on with everything. And that's the concept of wave function and what the hell a wave function is. See, in normal physics, every time we have an equation, like the Newtonian equations of motions, the equation is solving for something specific, something related to that object. For example, Newtonian equations are solving for the position of an object. If you kick a ball, where the ball is at every moment in time, equation of motions can tell you that. Back in the day, when people were understanding quantum physics, the mechanics of tiny particles, fundamental particles, the very first equation that came to be was the Schrödinger equation. Schrödinger equation is like any other equation of motion. It is solving for something versus time, but that thing it is solving is not position, is not velocity. It's basically this concept we call a wave function. All it is solving for, and all we can do with quantum physics, is to see where the probability of the particle is as the time passes. And there is nothing else there to solve. We showed that almost 100 years ago. But more importantly, wave function is not just probability. Wave function is made out of something we call it probability amplitude. It itself is not telling us where the particle is or with what probability it could be where. The square of it tells us where the particle is. What it is, no one actually knows. Probability amplitude can do a ton more than the square can do, because the square is always a real number, the same way probability is. Probability always has to be between 0 and 1 and a positive number. But probability amplitude can be negative. It can be an imaginary number. Particles can do weird shit because their probability amplitude can do weird shit. So while particles are untouched, they get to do insane things, because for all we know, they're not really particle, they're not really matter, energy, they're mostly just information. They're mostly this probability amplitude. And that's why they can be in multiple places at the same time. They can be entangled with each other. They can tunnel through things. They can do all these weird things that we cannot do, because they're not really a thing. They are an entity until they become a thing.